Today we're going to talk about Katakana panic, Katakana panic, and Japanese English. Right. Well, through the last 2 times, we have learned the very basics, what is the Japanese language. And we learned Nihongo, which has 3 characters all mixed. Hiragana, katakana, kanji, katakana for foreign words, sounds and catchiness, Romaji, Latin script to write Japanese and stuff. And then now we know 4 to 6 basic syllables, both in hiragana characters and katakana characters. And then magical dots and circles, if you remember. K sound becomes G sound, kakiku geko becomes gagigu geko, and so on, both in hiragana and katakana. And then little ya, yu, yo, contracted sounds, kyakyugyo, shashusho, chachujo, and so on, both in hiragana and katakana. And then little tsu, which is called double consonant. So when we say saka instead of saka, and then you should have little tsu in between. Kata instead of kata. This one, little tsu, double consonants and long vowels. In hiragana, for example, oba-san, and then you just put extra vowels, and then it becomes long vowels when you write. Just to be careful, ega, we write eiga, but eiga, it sounds. Oto, uto, we write, but ototo, no sound. And then in katakana, chizu, like yogurt, these long vowels, we write basically just hyphen, just, a line to show the long vowel. So that was all we've learned, but there are so many foreign words that cannot be described or written within these rules or like these characters. How about Philip? How about cafe? How about fork? Because we don't have F characters. Philip will be hiripu, or fork will be, we only have ha, hi, hu, he, ho. So fork will be hawk. Cafe will be kahe. How do we write them down? Firenze, the Italian city, Firenze, which is Florence in English. Firenze we call in Japanese. Fi and ze sound. Did we have it? Firenze, party will be party. Mozart. Well, we have learned za, ji, zu, ze, zo, with the 2 lines, 2 dots. But Mozart, this t sound, tsa sound. How do we write them? Check in this che. We've only learned chachucho. So how about che? Duet. Do. Do. How do you write do? How about Disney? D. When we had a look at the table, at the chart, it was only G. So would Disney be Disney? Vincent, V? Did we have V or William? We, James, J? We've only had the Jajujo. How about James, J? So we'll have a look at these. They're not official. I mean, these don't really seem to be shown in the official Japanese chart, Japanese hiragana, katakana chart. But these, I mean, we have created these spelling for foreign words. F sound, PH sound, T sound, except for tachitsuteto. So T, ta, T, tu, te, to, we skipped T2 part. So we do have spellings. We do have some ways to write them. Sa, si, se, zo, che. So D sounds, D, do, or do and do. SH, she, J, je. V sound, va, vi, vu, ve, vo. We do have them. Wow. And W, we, we, wo. stuff like that. So these are especially used specific foreign words which cannot be written in the basic hiragana and katakana charts. Katakana charts. And then, for example, when your name is Michael here, we usually write it as Maikeru. That's the very common one. But Michael can be Michael, or Michael, like phonetic way. So it's up to you. You can decide how your name will be written, especially when it's not common. It's not a common name. And then you can just create, oh, this is how my name should be pronounced, or like how my name should be written or spelled in katakana or in Japanese in general. Or you can even put or create your, not kanji, but you can also put the each kanji for each name's sound. You could do that. So it's just much more freedom than you might have imagined. Personally, I'll go for phonetic way. So when your name is pronounced Mikel, I would write it Mikeru instead of Maikeru. But most Japanese people will recognize your name as Maikeru, as it's a very common name, as in Michael Jackson or I don't know, some very popular celebrities and stuff. So when people know specific names and very common names, like common foreign names, there are some specific ways of spelling or writing people are used to, but it's still up to you, especially when it's your own name. Let's have a look at those examples we just saw. Philip, cafe, fork, party, mozo, Firenze, check-in. These words in katakana, we have to, you can look for example, like PHI, Philip, in the chart, but you can't find LI or just P. So what do? We first have to romanize those English or foreign words, like romanize as in Japanized, to be more phonetic, so in Japanese way, which means you put extra vowels in each sound, in each spelling. For example, Philip will be Philippu. Cafe will be cafe. Fork, you put U at the end of the word, the vowel. So fork will be forku. Party will be party. These like R sound will be gone. So just long vowel, party. Mozart, Mozarto. Firenze. These can be found in this chart, so it's a bit easier. Check-in will be check-in. And then in these forms, you can find each word, each character in the chart, either on this chart or the basic syllables, or the ones with the magical dots and magical circles. And then, ta-da, jajan, Philippu looks like this in katakana or in Japanese: cafe, fork, party, Mozarto, Firenze, check-in, and stuff like that. And the rest of the examples: Disney, duet, James, Vincent, William, for example. First, what do? We just try to put vowels at each sound and try to sound Japanese Japanese word. So Disney will be Disney. D sound can be found in this table. So D with U as in as in du, as in German or Danish, du, that would be du. But as in du in duet, that would be du. So there are some difference in Japanese as well, du and du. So in Romaji, I have put y in between to make it clear as it's du instead of du. James can be James or James. It just, depends on how you pronounce your name or how you prefer to put or to be spelled. Vincent, Vincent. We don't have C sound, that's just the same as S sound. So it will be Vincent. To. William will be we. This W-I can be found here. W and I, we. So William will be like this. And then, ta-da, you can now write or read katakana as in the system, or like based on these rules and some regulations wouldn't be called, but that's how it works. So this theory can be also applied when you have trouble, for example, in Japan, or when communicating with Japanese who are not really good at English. So for example, like, excuse me, where's the bathroom? Like typical tourist phrase. But when you're super fluent in English, it sometimes makes it difficult for Japanese to understand or to hear what it's been said. Magically, it just happens because Japanese language is very, very far out from the European languages and Germanic language and stuff, especially in pronunciation. Of course, also in grammar and everything. But now you know how these katakana works, how we transform English or foreign words into Japanese words. So it can be also used when people say, what? They don't understand. You can say, excuse me, where is the bathroom? Or something like that. And then it'll be written like this, excuse me, where is the bathroom? And stuff. So you can see the TH sound, that's still impossible for Japanese language to write as in the characters. So the and bathroom, in that will be the, that would be the closest pronunciation for the in Japanese. And bathroom, it's almost impossible to pronounce. Bathroom, it's called in Japanese. So that will be, so if you say like, excuse me, where's the bathroom? Very fluently, very quick, very fast, it'll be a bit difficult for them to, for Japanese people to get it. So you can just say, excuse me, just put vowels after each word. Excuse me, where is the bathroom? Instead of bathroom. Or you can say toilet or something, and then you can survive. Right, so just like these, what's it called? Japanese accent in English, where is a bathroom thing. Or for example, like McDonald is pronounced in Japan, McDonald. You can see each word has vowel. And then it sounds very different, right? So when you fluently say McDonald's, people say, what? 何ですか? When you say McDonald, and then they will say, right, McDonald. And then, for example, like Japanese grammar is very different from the English one. For example, like I want a cup of coffee. We say, 私コーヒーで. So when Japanese people think, what they usually say in Japanese, trying to put the sentence into English directly, they might say, I'm coffee, when they want to mean, I would like to have a cup of coffee. So these Japanese ways of speaking English, or Japanese characteristic ways of using English, they are called in different ways. They are called Japanglish. Some say Junglish. The others say Japlish. I think I usually say Japlish. But in Wikipedia, I've found English, like instead of L, there's R, as we don't distinguish L and R in Japanese. So right and light will be the same, raito in Japanese when we pronounce it, because we only have rarirurero. So they're called Japanglish, Junglish, Japlish, English. And when we talk about Japanese English, which is called wasei eigo in Japanese, they are not the same. They are a bit different. So what I mean here is just the way we say, like, excuse me, where's the bathroom? Where's the bathroom? Maybe you can survive, but the same strategy, you say, okay, microwave. Microwave. Okay, let's try to say it in Japanese or like Japanese accent. Microwave, microwave. But this time it won't work because it's called denshirenji in Japanese. Unfortunately, it's not microwave. People won't get it as you mean the microwave. Denshi means electric, and renji comes from range, which was originally from like gas range, I've heard. But it's totally different because it just, introduced back in very old days, so it just doesn't make sense now, but we still call it renji, denshi renji. So there are some exceptions, unfortunately, that when you cannot really make yourself understood just by saying English words, English phrases in Japanese ways. These are called wasei eigo, Japanese English, or wasei, like made in Japan English. So, for example, like Japanese people have also problems when they believe that, okay, they are in Katakana, so there must be English words. And then they say it. For example, the first one, petto bottle is called in Japanese. Do you know what it is? Petto bottle. And when they want to say in like English way, it's pet bottle. Pet bottle? What are they? And the next one, fried potato, it's called in Japanese English. I mean, in Katakana, we use it. They're very like modern Japanese. I mean, we still use them quite daily, quite often. Fried potato, and they want to try it in English way, fried potato. Consent. Consent? What do you mean? And I think this is very popular, this phrase. Fighto means fight. You might have heard of this phrase in anime or in some movies, but they are very different. Petto bottle is plastic bottle. Fried potato, when we say fried potato, they're not talking about the potato. It just chips, as in English, fish and chips, or what Americans would say French fries. That's fried potato for us. So when they try to say fried potato, I'd like to have fried potato, and then okay, they want chips, they want French fries. Consento, that means a socket, or PowerPoint, or like the outlet when you put the plug in. It's called consento somehow in Japanese. I've heard it's concentric plug or something, what they originally meant to call it, but it just has become consento, which means the socket, the outlet. So when you find Japanese people looking for consento, that's just a sake. You can just show the way to them where they can recharge their smartphones and stuff. And then when they say fight, or there are many that believe it's English word. So you might have seen some has actually written like fight when they mean like, you know, go for it, like good luck, just a very light cheering word. But you know, fight, just it's a very strong word, stronger word than they actually mean. when Japanese say fighter, that's a very, like, you know, cute, just wishing you like good luck and go for it. So there is some not the exception, these are the Japanese English that people have to, I mean, you have to be careful when you learn katakana, when you learn Japanese English, when you know how to pronounce Japanese words or like English words as in Japanese ways. So there are some exceptions, or there are actually many exceptions. So that would help you maybe survive in Japan or when you meet Japanese people, so that you can avoid misunderstanding or miscommunication. I hope that will help. And that was it. That's all for today. Thank you for watching. お疲れ様でした。If you want to practice Japanese with us and meet your new classmates, you're more than welcome to join us. おかえりスクール